What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today I'm very excited to check out Stoner City, the game of owners and stoners from Stonerware. This is for 2 to 5 players, ages 18 plus. It'll take you between, 45 minutes to 2 hours to play. And in Stoner City, this is another Monopoly clone. But this one has a unique twist because A, it's themed all about weed, but B, it actually has a police car that will be going around the board and sending you to rehab as well. Does this interesting quirk make the formula better, make the formula worse? I don't know. Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Stoner City. So first and foremost, we have our handy dandy rule booklet. It's one page, double-sided, no color, just huge wall of text, and it's okay. It should have you up and running pretty smoothly. It tries to integrate humor. It doesn't work very well, but I still appreciate the fact it tries to integrate humor. Overall, it should have you up and running pretty quickly. So in Stoner City, if you're familiar with Monopoly, you should be familiar with this game. You are going to be going around the board. You are going to be purchasing properties. You are going to be trying to bankrupt other people. And when you do that, you're also going to gain all of their properties, which gives you a higher chance to win. But this game does have a couple odd quirks in here, primarily the police officer, who will also be going around trying to arrest you, but let's show how it works. So when you first start the game, I think you get something like $1,600, and all the money is paper money, and it's specially modified money so that, it has famous presidents who are getting high for the most part, or they have funny names. Next, you're going to choose one of your pieces. The pieces, a lot of them look pretty similar. In particular, the 3 bongs right here look pretty samey, but you're going to pick one of these bongs, and then you are going to be on your way. Now, there's an arrow down here. This is the grow spot. If you've ever passed the grow spot, then you're going to gain $300. And on your turn, what you're going to do is it's very simple. You're just going to roll the dice. You're going to move that many spaces. So 1, 2, 3. So I landed on Bake Street. I have the option to purchase Bake Street for $50. So I'll purchase Bake Street for $50. And then I would collect Bake Street out of it right here. So there's Wake Street. So this is Wake and Bake Street. You get it? Wake and Bake. So I got Bake Street. Now, on here, it tells me all I need to know. If someone lands there, they're going to pay me $10. If I have both of them, that will be doubled. And once you have both properties, which you will be able to hopefully eventually, you can start building weed plants. And weed plants are going to be these little guys right here. And once you have both properties, you're able to build weed plants, and you have to build them evenly. So you'd have to put, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So you can't just place 3 here and 0 here. Once you do that, you can eventually upgrade them to plants. Once you upgrade them to plants, they become slightly bigger and slightly more green. And then when people land on them, they're going to pay you even more money. So now that your turn is over, you've purchased that property, you're also going to roll 1 die and move the police car. So the police car is going to go the opposite way, 1 dice. Now, why this is important is because if you ever land on the police car, or if the police car ever lands on you, then you have to go directly to Rehab. Rehab is all the way over here. You do not get money for going there, passing grow. You don't get money for doing that. You are now stuck in Rehab. And you have to get out by paying $200, or by rolling less than 4 on your turn, or by playing a Get Out of Rehab card, which is going to be in this stack of cards, which doesn't have backs on it, annoyingly, right here. You'll get these cards whenever you land on a Kharma spot, which are spread around the board. So we'll take a look at a couple Kharma cards. You'll get a feel for them. Advance to Grow. Your girlfriend gave you crabs. Pay $50 for a doctor visit. Recycling pays, collect $10 for used cans and bottles. Advance to Grow. Head over to Mary Jane Place. Dog ate your stash. You pay $50. Yeah, stuff that's very similar to Monopoly, but themed with marijuana instead. So you're going to continue to go until eventually someone will land on you and they will go bankrupt. When they go bankrupt, they give you all their money. All their leaves that they might have had on stuff will get sent away, and then plants, you sell those in order to pay off the person. If you still can't pay off the person, even after taking a loan out for all your properties, much like Monopoly, that person will get your properties, and then you will be eliminated from the game. Now, the other interesting quirk about the police car, though, is if you ever land on the same spot as the police car, or you the police car lands on you, and that is actually your property, then you not only go to rehab, but you also lose that property, and then it gets auctioned off to someone else, which thematically is very cool and can actually be incredibly swingy, because how it works is if you had, let's say you had a Monopoly over here, whatever they call it in this game. Let's say you have this going on and the police car lands on you and this is your spot. You lose this. You lose all of these. These are now gone because you don't have a Monopoly anymore. And then you go to rehab. It's a huge game changer in that aspect. But other than that, not too much else to tell you about this game. There's a couple spots that are very similar to the electric company and the railroad. So you can get the smoke shops, which the more you have, the more will pay you. You can get the what is it, the hydroponic system? Yeah, the hydroponic system, where however high the die roll is, that's how much you're going to multiply it by. And that, in a nutshell, is what you're going to get inside of... and also a really crummy box insert. And that, in a nutshell, is what you're going to get inside of Stoner City. Alrighty then, Stoner City from Stonerware. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the pro side. I like the fact that they actually put some time and effort into this game. It does not feel like a direct Monopoly clone cash-in. They actually did some cool things. They have some nice components in this game. You know, it does have custom dice. It does have the custom meeples, which look like bongs, which is pretty cool as well. You know, instead of houses, hotels, they got the plants. Like, you can really tell that this was a labor of love for someone. The rule booklet's pretty well done, even though the humor doesn't come across well, but I like the fact they tried to put in humor. The paper money, which I'm not a fan of paper money, they actually... they put custom artwork on that, and they put custom names on that, and they put effort into the game, which I can appreciate. Also, police car looks good, and I like how the police car system works. Kind of. I think it makes it slightly better than Monopoly, because everything else about this game is pretty much just Monopoly. But that being said, it also can be incredibly swingy, because this police car can really screw you over. Let's just say you have hotels, and I'm not going to use, you have plants, whatever they are, in this game on 3 really expensive properties. Say the pink ones, for instance. And then the police car lands on you while you're on that property. You lose that property. You lose your Monopoly. You lose your hotels. And all of a sudden, the game has just catastrophically shifted for you. And just for other people, it's like, whoa, a window just opened for them. And I like that a little bit. But at the same time, I also dislike that because it's incredibly swingy. It's a catch-up mechanism. And it can hurt the people who are already behind. Let's say that you have like 3 properties and you were just struggling in this game completely. You get your property taken away by the police officer. It's just like, oh, well, look, there's one thing less that I already didn't have that is now gone. And I see both the positive and the negatives of the police car. I think for people who like this type of game, who still play Monopoly, I think they will like the mechanism. But I think if you're a gamer, you'll be like, that's kind of neat. That's interesting. But then you'll be like, oh, that's a really bad idea. So the police car, I like the idea in theory, but in practice, I don't know. It's just a little bit too swingy for me. Any other pros that I have with the game? No. Moving on to the cons. Stoner City, while not a complete Monopoly clone, is for the most part a 95% Monopoly clone. You're just going to be going around the board, you're going to be rolling, you're going to be going to jail, you're going to be building houses, you're going to be building hotels. Yes, you can change the name of what they are, but they're still houses, they're still hotels. I'm not going to call it Grow, I'm going to call it Go. When I pass Go, I get $300. I don't get $200 for passing Go, I get $300 for passing Grow. I mean, come on. Also, the humor in the rule booklet doesn't hit. The box insert, while they did try their best to make a really nice box insert, and I commend them on that, is not a good box insert. It's just really difficult to get everything out of there because everything fits in there so tightly, and it's just kind of annoying. Also, the box is this really weird box, and it's just not a nice box. It feels not like a board game top box, but more like the kind of box that you would store paper in, if that makes sense. It might not make sense, but it's not a very well done box. And the board, oh my gosh, this board is like about as thick as 3 pieces of construction paper put together. So they totally went chintzy on the board. I feel like they spent so much else on the other components that they couldn't afford the board. The money is not double-sided, which I actually... I don't know if that's supposed to be on purpose, but I actually kind of like that because then you never know how much money someone else has. So I guess that would actually be on the pro side. But paper money, you know, even though this is relatively nice paper money, I mean, it's still paper money, and I'm not a big fan of paper money. You know, some of the pawns look a little bit too similar, especially the 1, 2, 3, 4 bowls. Like when you first just look at them at first glance, it's just like, wait, which bowl's mine? Actually, this one's a hookah. The hookah doesn't really look that similar, but the 3 bowls kind of look that similar. Not bowls, bongs. And just overall, I can't recommend this game. You know, if you love Monopoly, then yeah, you might want to give this one a shot. You might actually want to try this one out, because if you don't mind all the faults that Monopoly has, this fault has all those faults, but then it also has the police car system, which I think is somewhat of a cool idea, so you might like it just for that. That being said, you also could just kind of add like an RC, you know, like a little toy car to your version of Monopoly, and just have that toy car go backwards. I mean, if you wanted to save the $15 or whatever you take to buy this game. So yeah, there you go. Stoner City. It's a very hard recommendation for just about anybody. And yeah, I guess I'd say I can't even recommend it to anybody, because, yeah, just go get Monopoly and then just go get a little toy car and just play with that instead. So Stoner City from Stonerware, not one that I can recommend at all to just about anybody. It's not a very good game. If you enjoyed this review, please try to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know, would you go to Stoner City? Well, yeah, of course. I love traveling and sightseeing. What about you? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.